when it ended, I was like, there's no way that's the last episode. No way. There's gotta be one more. Nope. That's the last episode. Really? Hey movie watchers, welcome to today's review of The Boys Season 1. If you're new to this channel, I give my synopsis, my likes, my dislikes, and then I give you the breakdown where I have individual scores for the writing, acting, cinematography, and directing. All my reviews do have some spoilers in them, so you have been warned. Okay movie watchers, let's review. So the show starts off with a bang, and it ends with basically not answering really much of anything. It starts off basically with Huey's girlfriend, who you think is gonna be an important character in the story, and she explodes or implodes or something. A-Train's one of the infamous 7 superheroes, and he just plows right through her. Billy Butcher reaches out and contacts Huey and kind of promises him revenge and tries to set up A-Train, but he really just uses Huey to draw one of the supes out. They kidnap Translucent and enlist the help of Frenchie to figure out basically how to kill him. Although I'm not really sure why they're trying to kill him. But anyway, Huey blows him up, and the team sets out to investigate the rest of the supes in hopes of shutting them down and shutting Vought down and ultimately bringing Homelander to justice. You see, Billy has a grudge. As we understand it, Homelander kind of rapes his wife, and then she just disappears. Billy refuses to think she's dead and won't stop looking for her, and will stop at nothing to bring Homelander and Vought down. And also all of the other 7 supes. Starlight joins the 7 supes, except she's actually kind of a good person, at least for the most part, and she wants to do good things. She's having to navigate a world of being a superhero and the publicity and the politics, while realizing that heroism is mostly just about putting on a show and pretending to be heroic rather than actually caring for people and actually being heroic. Huey falls in love with her while also using her to kind of gain insight into the other 6, or at least into Vought and to the 7. At the end of the show, we learn that Billy Butcher's wife isn't actually dead, that Homelander actually fathered a child with her that he really just found out about. And that's where they leave us. Right there. Really? Movie watcher question. Are you good with how season 1 ends? Or were you like me, hoping and wanting and needing another episode or 2? Let me know in the comment section down below. Starting with my likes, number 1, I love the way the show takes off. From episode 1, this world where superheroes have little to no weaknesses. They can practically do whatever they want, and really they can really get away with it. Especially if you're one of the 7 supes that's protected by Vought. And we start the show off already inside this universe with everything already in full swing. There's no building up to it. There's no origin story really. Everyone just already accepts that there are superheroes and that they're God's gift to mankind, and they believe that they're infallible, perfect human beings. You just gotta jump in with both feet and pick up what you can along the way. I like that that's where we're starting the story off from. Number 2, I honestly think if we lived in a world where superheroes like this were virtually indestructible, they would probably be just as corrupt, if not even more corrupt, than how this story portrays. I mean, if you think about it, they could do whatever they want, and no one could stop them. No one could threaten them with jail or with the death penalty or anything. You couldn't try to kill them, or I guess you could try to kill them, but that would come with huge sacrifices and huge losses. So there would basically be nothing that anyone could do, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. I also generally think that it would be turned into some type of monopoly, some type of show business where lots of stuff is just pretend, make-believe. I totally believe that would happen. So I think the show's portrayal of events would actually be very close to how it would probably play out in real life. Like number 3, I really enjoyed the dynamic of all of the different characters. None of the characters are the same, and they all have their own interesting story arcs, and their own interesting things about them, and their own interesting things going on. I mean, Billy's on a mission to ruin Vought and bring Homelander to justice for raping his wife. Huey wants revenge for his girlfriend Robin dying, but also falls in love with Starlight. Starlight also kind of falls in love with him, and she's also trying to navigate the world of publicity and heroism and all this other fake crap. Frenchie also kind of falls in love with the female, or at least he really cares for her. Mother's Milk is trying to keep his family safe. He's trying to keep his family together while also helping Billy and kind of trying to do the right thing. So there's a lot going on, a lot of characters, which I don't typically like that much. But everyone has something about them, and everyone has their own stuff going on, and there's lots of story and lots of character development to tell. Moving on to my dislikes, dislike number 1, I'm finding it very difficult to get over the concept of not really explaining things in the show. We learn that the Supes are basically given this compound V as infants, which turns them into Supes. But they apparently stop needing the compound V at a very young age, young enough for them to realize they weren't even taking compound V, and their powers start to develop all by themselves. And does the compound V decide what powers they get, or do like the doctors decide what powers they get? And if it's the compound V that's giving them these abilities and these powers, then why does it have a negative effect on A-Train? He basically has a heart attack because he's taking too much compound V. That doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. You also have other issues like the Supes trying to join the military. Like, why do they need permission from the government? Let's be honest. Why can't they just go kill the bad guy? Just go kill the enemy, the war's over, and who's gonna stop you? Who's going to say anything or do anything about it? They also leave open one of the biggest questions, and that's what's going on with Billy's wife. Did Homelander, like, actually rape her? Or did she do it? Did she cheat on him voluntarily? I mean, like, there's just too many questions that went unanswered, and it's really annoying that season 1 ends like this. It ends so quickly. I seriously went back and looked for a 9th episode. I was like, there's no way they ended the show like this. No way. But they did. That's exactly what they did. Dislike number 2, I honestly think that the Supes need like a lot of work, at least a lot more work in pre-production process. Some of them are actually pointless, and I don't actually think that they serve a purpose, and the show can do without them completely. They're irrelevant. Their costumes look terrible. I mean, terrible. And honestly, I'm growing tired of seeing all these like grown adult men and women like walking around in costumes that look silly all the time. And some of the Supes like need to be explained better, and they could use some better story arcs. The Deep, it's a dumb name, it's a boring character, and he's basically useless to the plot. He does try to save a dolphin and a lobster, and he ends up getting them both killed, and that does bring some humor. Those scenes are kind of funny, but his character in the story has like no point. Also, his costume is stupid. Translucent is basically used to sort of kind of start the plot off, but then they just kill him off real quick, and there's no real explanation for why he even needs to die or why they even want to kill him, really. They just do. And Queen Maeve would be interesting, but there isn't enough to her story yet. You only get a little bit. She's in love with her ex-girlfriend, she's really strong, and we think that she used to be a good person. And that's basically all we really kind of know about her. I don't think that's enough on her character yet to really kind of decide whether or not you like her or don't like her. A-Train's outfit looks absolutely stupid and terrible, and I just laugh every time he's on screen because I can't stop looking at how dumb that suit is. But at the end, the compound V almost kills him, or we think it kills him, or we're not really sure if he dies or not, so it doesn't really seem all that important, and it seems like his character is really only used to show off like the publicity and the celebritism of being a hero. And I think they actually underused Starlight's character. She's strong and virtually indestructible, which seems to be like a very common theme amongst these soups, but she also like sends out these beams of light or something. And this is like one of those powers that it seems like different and interesting on the surface, but when you think about it, it's really not that interesting. I mean, she's strong and powerful like everyone else, but the beams of light... Homelander's basically Superman, and I'm guessing that he's the strongest of the soups. They don't really explain this. We just kind of go with it, and you just kind of believe that that is the truth. And why he got so many abilities, at least so many more abilities than the others, everyone else seems to get like 2 abilities, maybe 3, and he's got like 5. And I'm not really sure how they're ever going to be able to give his character a true arc, considering that he quite literally is the most powerful being in the entire world. Okay, movie watchers, here's the breakdown. I'm giving the writing a 6 out of 10. It's interesting and I'm definitely into the story and the characters, but there are parts to it that I think are useless and that need more explaining. The acting is getting a 7 out of 10. Not all of the acting is believable, but it's not terrible by any means. The cinematography gets a 6 out of 10 because I feel like they missed a lot of opportunities to really be creative with their camera work, to really set up some shots, and to really make the movie watcher feel like they're witnessing all of this stuff happening from the inside. I am giving the directing a 5.5 out of 10. Parts of the season feel really rushed. Parts of it feel really underdeveloped, and there are also a lot of unanswered questions, and there are a lot of parts that are just completely useless to the plot and the story. Overall, The Boys Season 1 gets a 6 out of 10 from me. I really enjoyed the show, I had a lot of fun watching it, and I am looking forward to Season 2, but I do hope they do some things a little bit better when Season 2 gets here. Thank you for watching, I've got more reviews and discussions coming your way, so check back soon for those, and I'll see you on the next one.
Come out to the coast, we get together, have a few laughs.
Please, we can kill it.
We ride together, we die together. Bad boys for life.
Are you not